Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langmeyer.
Welcome 2022. A lot of you've been on the New Year, New Yous. Steve, if you want to put the replay, if you missed it, you can't. I mean, it's about goal setting in 8 areas, about living your values. Phenomenal. We had so much fun that day. I hope you had fun. But we had so many people learn their values and then start shifting their goals to living your values. So really important that you make sure you go back and grab that. So Steve, when you have a moment, put in the replay link to go listen to it and listen to it over and over. And that's one of those, if you have friends and family that 1 degree of separation and they are not playing the game or thinking the way you are, I'd start, sharing and moving people to pay attention. So today is really like a launch day. I've secretly been leaking it a little bit, but I like seriously been, kind of leaking the fact that the way we're going to do this book launch is just going to be world class, and it's never been done before. So we're going to take the Make Your Kids Millionaires book that Kyle and I wrote, and it's with McGraw-Hill, and it's coming out in April. And we are going to run to several bestsellers, and we are going to do it through an NFT. And an NFT is a smart contract. So I brought I'm going to say dear friend, because I've known Melanie since Nathan was 13. So that's like 7-8 years, right?
Yeah.
So Melanie and Jen are amazing women. I met them early in their publishing career. So you can see behind, she owns Elite Online Publishing. And although we're not publishing with her, she is my pick of choice to help run this thing to a bestseller. And the fact that her son's 21, I met him at 13 into 3 days to cash. He made a bunch of money. I think I paid him $2,000. And then he's now a millionaire in NFTs and digital currency. So with that, Melanie, I'll let you introduce you and Jen, your company, who you're just going to get to know Jen. She's also taken a seat at the big table. So those of you in the big table, you'll be seeing Melanie and Jen there. And we're going to do the most unique launch ever done. We are going to have books, NFTs, and a new generation. I'm a Gen X. And my kids are millennials and Gen Zs. Well, we skipped the Gen W. So I created this new thing. It's called Gen W for generational wealth builders. And you're all going to join the club. There's no cost to join the club called Gen W. So I think we're going to have to get a logo and everything. But with that, Melanie, I'll stop talking. So I'm so excited about our launch though. And welcome.
Oh man, thanks for having me here. I couldn't be more thrilled. Jen and I really pride ourselves on being innovative and staying on top of technology. And as we'll tell you, some other publishers are a little slower. They're kind of more dinosaurs. And so when I came up with Loral was telling me about her launch, we were having talks of how to make this the most successful. And I said, you've got to do the newest thing. The newest thing is to have an NFT. So probably most of you are going, what the heck is an NFT? Because maybe 5-10%, I think, of the world knows what one is, but people are knowing more and more every day. So I want to educate you on what that is. A little background on myself. I started in the television business. I own 2 TV stations in major markets, Dallas and Houston. Not only owned and operated, but I used to be on camera back in the day. And that's kind of how I started my TV career. And then also do real estate investment because I learned from Loral. And the reason my son had for his graduation present, got an LLC when he graduated from high school, because I knew he was going to be an entrepreneur. Now he has like 7 LLCs that he's going on. And Laurel's very proud of him, and I'm proud of him, of course, too, that he's now 7 figures. His company has generated 8 figures just in this last year and a half. So it's just going crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So we learned a lot from her. Really recommend her program as well. So let's dive into what the heck is an NFT, right?
I'm going to just interview you through it, Melanie. So we're going to start with what it is. And I have a whole bunch of questions from the Ask Loral site. So we're just going to dive in, educate you first, and we'll talk about the launch in the community. And even though a lot of you are already in the community in a variety of ways, we're just going to transition you all, if you're serious. We should have them do like a little oath of, I'm going to be a Gen W, which is a generational wealth builder. So let's start with what the heck is an NFT?
Okay, what the heck is an NFT? So NFT stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible token. So non-fungible means you can't hold it in your hand. Like I can hold my computer in my hand. That's fungible. I see Teresa there drinking a mug of coffee or tea. Well, that's fungible because she can hold it. Fungible means it's real. You can touch it in your hand. So non-fungible means that you can't touch it. It's fluid. So if any of you have grandchildren, children that play video games and are like, man, can you get me a card because I want to buy a weapon in the video game. I want to get a skin.
I want diamonds in Minecraft.
Yes. So that's all non-fungible. Those are all non-fungible tokens. They just live. They're just digital assets. The best way to describe it is a digital asset. A piece of art on the internet, a PDF, is a digital asset. So that's all considered a non-fungible token. And that's kind of the difference between fungible and non-fungible. All right. Does everyone get and understand what the difference is between fungible and non-fungible? Type yes in the chat so I know that you understand that.
Well, and I also want to speak to, I learned this today. I've been in the NFT world today, interviewing for my YouTube channel, my podcast, and now this, like all day was this, is that another way to think about it is like a lot of you that are in the big table, we have a contract, right? You signed a contract, or the 100K challenge, right? You signed a contract, but it's not in the blockchain. So you can't say one day, I want to transfer my contract, but you can, right? When it's non-fungible, you can transfer contracts called smart contracts through the internet. So think of it as another way to get all the stuff I have, but you now get to sell it and resell it. Is that another way to kind of describe it, Melanie? I mean, just have total layman language, but I thought it was interesting when Simon described it that way, is we have a contract, but really, unless we go to court, like where is, it's not in the blockchain. So speak to that part of it, because I think that helps people understand that.
I think a good analogy of that is, let's say you buy a piece of art, Laurel, you buy it from me and you buy it for $1,000 and you think it's great. And then you resell it to Cheryl McBride that's it over here. And Cheryl goes, oh man, that artist is taken off. I'm going to give you 10 grand for that piece of art. Well, me, the artist goes, well, I made 1,000, but I don't make anything on the 10,000. Right. But if I sold it as an NFT through the blockchain, I could put a percentage in there, say 10%. And every time it resells, I'll make 10% of whatever they sell it for. So if Cheryl sells it to Jeff, then and she sells it for 15,000, I would get 10% of the 15,000. Then Jeff sells it to Lynette for 20, then I get 10% of the 20, and so on and so forth every time it resells. And what Laurel is trying to say is about the smart contract. So let me give you kind of a definition of what a smart contract is. It says a smart contract, they're simple programs stored on the blockchain. Now, the blockchain is where cryptocurrency lives, right? You've heard of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these places. That's all on the blockchain. So a smart contract lives there. It actually lives through Ethereum. Ethereum is one of the places that you can have a, oh, did I hit something wrong? What happened here?
Are you sharing the screen?
No, I didn't mean to share the screen. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. We're back. So the smart contract is, like I said, it lives on Ethereum, right? They're typically used to automate the execution of an agreement so that all participants can be immediately certain of the outcome without a lawyer, right? So think about that. Or a title company if you're buying a piece of real estate. So, and there's no time loss because it's coded on there. It happens immediately and it can't be changed. Once it's on the blockchain, it can never be changed. So it's a smart contract that executes and it lives on the blockchain and there's no negotiating. So they're saying there's really going to be less litigation because there's no negotiation. It just happens. You agree to it up front and then it's done. So that's the part that she's talking about. And then the trading back and forth that you can resell it and then the original person of it can continue to make money. Does that make sense, guys?
It does. Now, Rosalie, I think, said, I thought non-fungible meant not exchangeable. And that's not true. I mean, if they're resellable, they are exchangeable.
Yeah. So you can resell them. Matter of fact, I'll give you some examples. Some of these NFT projects that are going, my son's involved in a lot of these. So what's happening is people are buying them on the whitelist, which we're going to explain. Laurel's going to have a whitelist. So the whitelist people
I don't know what that is quite yet, but I will. So just so you're all clear, that's why my buddy over here exists.
Yep. And well, think of a whitelist as VIP, right? When you go to an event and they say, do you want VIP? Well, VIP gets to sit in the front. VIP gets to do this and the other people don't. So think of it, the whitelist is kind of the VIP area.
Love that. That's a great description.
Yeah. Now I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about, Laurel? You just asked me about tangible versus untangible. Yep. So yes, so they can be traded. So the example of my son on the whitelist, they launch these NFTs. So let's say they're doing a project with 10,000 NFTs in it, and that's 10,000 graphics. On his, they're doing mostly art with nothing attached to it. So what happens then is that people will buy them and then they turn around and resell them and try and resell them for a profit right away, because all these other people haven't gotten them yet, don't know what the value is. And then the real people get to come in, and then the project may sell out and they didn't get one. So then they want to try and get one from someone who is reselling it because they feel like there's going to be continued value in it. All right. Then the difference between like Laurel's project, most of these projects coming out right now are all artwork. Like there's a project called Bored Apes, CryptoPunks. One my son did, which is Goat Society, which sold out for $3.2 million in 5 minutes. These are all art projects, right? So what makes Laurel's project different, and some of these newer projects that are going to come up, is she's going to have a utility attached to hers. So all of you belong to the big table, where she may have something she's creating, this Gen Z, that you'll have access, or Gen W, sorry. You'll have exclusive access if you own one of these NFTs to that event. Now she's only going to have maybe 1,000 or 2,000 of these, and there's not going to be any for anybody else. Once they're gone, unless someone buys one from you. But that's exclusive. Where, you know, you see other people, it's like, oh, well, other people can buy this. A lot of people can buy this. It's available for 1,000. So what's the value to it? But this is limited access, and she's putting really great bonuses and different things in there that normally nobody would ever get. She's coming up with new wonderful things to go inside there.
So for example, we're going to have a John W. conference. You know, I swore in 2016 when we had the Ultimate Millionaire Summit, right? UMS, which is just enormous. I mean, we consumed the entire Hard Rock Hotel in Lake Tahoe. And I swore I was done with big old conferences. Well, we're going to have a Gen W conference. So Melanie and I have decided, but we are probably going to lock that out at maybe 200 or 250. Maybe if we get super generous, only 300 people will ever get a ticket. So you can imagine you buy one of those NFTs that have a Gen W conference ticket, how valuable in the next few years. And our minimum commitment is for the next 3 years. So 2022, 23, 24, sometime in the fall or spring, but for sure this fall, we will have our first big Gen W conference, like really live sponsors, the whole thing. So that's like an example, I think, right, Melanie, of something that's it's very fixed. There's only so many tickets. You can't just buy your way in. You can't, if you don't have that NFT, that's your ticket to get in.
That's your ticket to get in. And she's talking about not just one ticket to go one time. It'll be for whenever she has that, as many conferences as she has, then an NFT gives you access to every single time she has that conference.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm pumped.
All right, so more questions. So why are NFTs important? Like really? Because I think for a while, I remember when NFTs first were announced, I was on Clubhouse, and this just small group of people were like, it's going to be the best thing. And it's only for artists and musicians. They're finally going to get royalties. And then I'm thinking, well, I have a few of these that have royalties. Why can't I put this in an NFT? Why can't I lock up my legacy in the blockchain? And hence my curiosity led me then, honestly, why Melanie got the gig, right? Because I had the same guy do actually all my book launches. And then she won this time because I want to do this NFT joint launch and I want this new conference, and it's complicated, and we're MSUing at its finest. That's called making shit up, but it's perfect. So talk about why they're important, why, like, it's here to stay. Like it is going to become a currency, not almost, it will be. So talk more about why it's important for people to like lean in and learn. I see in the chat, you're going, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I am. You know what? We're all going to learn this together. At least it's
a whole new world. So along with NFTs, there's Web 3.0 or Web 3, they're calling it, the metaverse. You're like, oh my gosh. It's like, so think about, a lot of us were around when the internet started, right? And we're like, is this a fad? Is this staying on? And, you know, there were a lot of players that came on right away, and a lot of people crashed, and a few came up and, you know, became the Googles and the Amazons and the Yahoo and all that kind of stuff. So it's all new. But what I love, what Loral,
remember MySpace? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, that's like, that shows how old we are, but it's fine.
Yeah, but then MySpace, so MySpace started off and then it died off, and you had Facebook, right? Was the one to go to, but it still was the same idea, right? It was still the social network. So that's what's going to happen, is you're not going to have, right now we're limited by the social network and these people going in between, where what's happening with NFTs and stuffing, it's taking the middle person out, right? I want to say it's really owning your content. Like Loral's launching this book. She has a traditional publisher. She has, I can't even tell you how many limitations with a traditional publisher versus.
Wait, I got to go. And it's going to be a hardback. It's over 300 pages. So it's like, but you remember, it's a 21-year kid book. From what do you do in 0 to 1 to 2? It's a book you're going to like go to every time your kid turns a new age. So it's a huge book. So you know how much the little baby's going to cost to ship? Probably $5 to $7. So it's a $25 book. So I went to Melanie and I said, this is just us talking transparently about how to think about this. It's like, it's going to cost one person potentially $32 to get the book in their hands in the United States. That's not even anywhere else in the world yet. We haven't even thought about how the heck we're going to get a hardback to a country. But back to you now. I mean, there's a lot to this launch that's just been like barriers to entry. And it's like, we're going to go.
So think about like, okay, let's take the music industry. So the music industry, they're paying money to their managers. They're paying money to all these people. Loral with her book. The traditional publishing companies, unlike our publishing company, they take a percentage of her royalties. Well, if she just took her book right to the NFT, she doesn't have to deal with the publisher, or the music person doesn't have to deal with the manager and these other people, agents getting in the way. They're controlling their content. So think about it. You own everything 100%. And it goes right from there. So you're taking away that middle person, and the artist, the business person, is taking 100% control. So Gary Vee just did an interesting launch on NFTs with Flyfish Restaurant, where you got a membership for the restaurant that gave you access to get in. It's only exclusive to the members, to the certain areas. So instead of usually like you would get a membership to a country club or a special membership to a restaurant, but then they'd be like, well, you don't know how many they're selling. They're selling thousands and thousands. So just like they print so much money, your money's not worth as much. So if they're printing all these different memberships, it dilutes the value of your membership. Right. All right. I'll tell you this story. I am a member of this community down in the Dominican Republic. So I decided to, it's a timeshare kind of thing. And I was like, I want the top level, because I'm going to rent this thing out. And I want the top level. So I felt really confident I was going to get all the best stuff. Within a year, they created another top level, took my stuff away, right, that I was supposed to get in the contract, gave it to the next top level. Oh, you're not getting that anymore. I go, but it's in my contract. And so now they kept creating new top levels, where if you're getting screwed over. What if, like, Gary Vee's creating this membership? That's it. There's only so many memberships. I think he's only doing 200. And so, you have a huge value in there, and it's going to stay a value, and you can resell it easily on the blockchain. All right. So that's kind of one of the reasons why. And you're going to see this. It's experimental in the music industry. Oh, she's giving a tease.
That's I'm giving a little tease. Somebody said, what's the artwork? So this artwork, for those of you in the big table, these are some women in Uganda. We've modified them greatly, because what's behind it is my favorite place on earth, which is where I live, Lake Tahoe, Nevada. And there's another one, and there'll be another one. But that gives you an idea. So part of it will also be a charity, because I want to get back to these women in Uganda who actually do these amazing visual paintings, like phenomenal. So there'll be a whole charity. We have to talk about that too. Like, I just made that up, but we do want to get back to these women who are in this community, and that's how they feed their children. So a lot of people on our big table have bought their art, and we'll have a variety of those. So somebody asked in here, what's the art going to look like? It's going to be breathtaking. I got to give credit to my son. Actually is one. We have this in our home, and he said, Mom, like, you have to, like, these are the most majestic. He called them majestic millionaire lions. That's what we're going to call them. So
I love that. A little makes it different. You're going to have this crossover that's going to start with art and utility in the NFTs. And the other reason I really want Loral's community to get involved is because I want you to be on the forefront of this technology. So my son, Nathan, when my car was up, this was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, my lease was up on my car and I'm looking for an SUV, still the mommy vehicle. And he's like, Mom, you got to get a Tesla. I'm like, a Tesla? Really? I just don't know if I'm ready for all the electric, maybe a hybrid. He says, Mom, this is the reason why. I want you to learn about the technology now. So then you're ahead and I don't feel like you're too old and I can't teach you anymore. And I'm like, seriously? But it was smart because now I felt like everyone looked at me like, ooh, Tesla. I had young guys giving me the thumbs up and I'm like, oh, you think I'm cute? Oh no, it's the car that they were impressed with. So that's what I want for all of you. You're going to start having these conversations and knowing what an NFT is and the metaverse and Coinbase and MetaMask and all these terms are. We're going to educate you on the language. So you know the language, you're going to know how to do it. And you're going to be telling your younger group, kids, grandkids, whoever they are, that they're going to know. I'm at a conference right now and there's a guy that was sitting behind me that was probably 29, 28 years old. And I'm telling him that I'm doing NFTs and he's looking at me with a blank stare and I go, you don't know what an NFT is, do you? He's like, no, I think I've heard of it. I think I'm supposed to know about it. And I'm like, uh-huh. I go, I love it because I'm a lot older than you and I know all about this already, right? And this is where it's going. So I want you to be on the top of the technology because it's going to help your business. It's going to help you grow. It's going to help you expand into other markets, younger markets if you need to. It's just going to make you smarter. So think about
you got to be on the you got to be on the forefront. And I mean, a lot of you have followed me for a very long time. I think, we do a little bit of homework and this is going to be, I'm going to say a very cost effective. I mean, it's not going to cost a ton of money, but I'm going to say safe way to launch. We're going to babysit you. We're going to help you get your wallets. We're going to help you get the MetaMask. We're going to help you figure all this out. And the other side for some of the questions I got on Ask Loral, Melanie, is, how do coaches or other industries outside of artists, because there is such a stigma, I'm going to say that NFTs are just associated to music and art, and they're not, because guess what? I got IP. Any of you authors, you have IP. So if you want to protect your legacy forever to be paid in the blockchain, and then no one can steal it from you when you walk off this planet, it's another way to highly protect your legacy and intellectual property. So I find there's just an amazing amount to do. And I don't care how old you are on this call. I want this to be at least one of the places you say, I got my first NFT. And if you're older and you have kids, grandkids, you get the book on how to make them millionaires. In fact, one of the things we're adding into the book is just a little bit about the NFT, given that, we've decided to launch it that way.
Well, and the value, so, there's the price of the NFT that you're going to get in for buying 12 books, probably is what we're thinking about. Yeah. But the value that Loral is offering is way, 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 way more than the NFT. I can't even put a value because the Gen W thing is going to be huge. But I mean, think of getting something worth for your $300 investment worth $10,000. I mean, you all know what you have.
$500, 12 books. 12 books with shipping. Remember our little math.
Oh, it could be 500. Yeah, with the shipping.
We're gonna have to do 500. So we're making it up right now, but yeah, with shipping to get you 12 books. And you say, what am I going to do with 12 books? I don't have 12 kids. Well, give them away, gifts, resell them. I don't really care. We just got to get it done.
Yep. So let me walk you through real quick, just some basics, but we're going to have more of these where we're going to do step by step and help you set up these accounts. So you don't feel like you're lost in the woods and I'm doing this on my own. We don't want you to do this on your own. We're going to do where we share screen and show you how to set up the accounts to get ready to do this. So first thing is you all need to be on what's called Coinbase. And that's where you buy cryptocurrency, because you have to buy cryptocurrency. You have to purchase the NFT with cryptocurrency. Okay. So we want you to get a Coinbase account. And then the next step is you're going to get an OpenSea account. Can you put that in chat? So you put the link to.
1 second. Steve, it's up to you and our team if we want to stay live on social or come back off. But the site, for those of you really interested in what we're doing, it's askloral.com. Actually, Steve, I'm going to let you put it in because you developed the link. And it's just for those of you who are serious about doing this. The other group that we have to speak to there are a lot of you who already bought a book And we will have a transition for you that have pre-bought the book and how we're going to blend you into this NFT. So if you only want one book, you can have one book. We need 12. Honestly, we need 12 at a time. To hit a bestseller, we got to hit 12 at a time. So askloral.com/NFT. So if you click on that, that's just an opt-in page, because a lot of you're here just to check out what's going on. If you don't want to be part of this conversation, then we won't. We will market to all of you for a while, but then like Melanie said, we're going to get a small group of the serious ones who will go to askloral.com/NFT, and we're going to open up. It might take an hour or two. It's going to take a little minute. We got to get all the stuff done.
Well, think about this. You're going to get an education for free.
Huge.
So normally, normally you would say I'd have to pay a course to learn how to do all this. And Loral and I are graciously giving our time and energy so you all can learn this for free and teach you that. So I think that's a huge bonus. So let me jump back. So you need a Coinbase account. If someone wants to put that in chat, I don't know if Steve, if you're doing chat.
Somebody asked, so why Coinbase over, if you see in the chat, some other thing? But why, just maybe explain why Coinbase versus any of the other platforms?
I just like Coinbase. I'm trying to keep everyone on the most used thing. It's like, okay, you can go to Bing search engine or you can go to Google search engine, right? They both work. So I'm just trying to send you to the one that's the most common and easily interface. So we're all on the same page when we're learning. Perfect. So Coinbase, then you're going to want to set up an account at OpenSea. OpenSea, SEA, OPENSEA, OpenSea. And there you can kind of look around. There's NFTs there for sale. There are some that are being resold. There's some that are going to be launching. It'll tell you that one's coming up for launch. So kind of monkey around in there. That's your homework. Monkey around in OpenSea and see what you get. All right. We're going to announce, we're back and forth right now if we're going to use Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency to buy the NFT, or we may use Polygon. Everything's changing really fast. So we'll make that decision in the next week or so. So then we can get you guys going there. Then there is one other thing. I don't want to overwhelm you because this is the next thing we're going to do is you're going to open a MetaMask wallet. But that is going to be kind of a separate thing. If you get Coinbase and OpenSea right now, I will be thrilled. I think that's a great place to start. And then we'll walk you through doing the MetaMask because that's a whole separate thing and how to connect those to your OpenSea. So let's just start with Coinbase and OpenSea, and you can monkey around in there. Now, the other thing we're going to start is going to be a Discord. And a lot of the information is going to be on a Discord. So what the heck's a Discord? So again, your kids know what a Discord because they have Discords for all the gamers. So what Discord is kind of like Twitter. You guys know what Twitter is. It's a conversation room on a specific topic. So it's just those people that are interested in that topic. So like a video game may have their Discord and they're just talking about that video game. So we're just going to be talking about Loral's NFT and everything that's going on with that project. We're going to do a lot of training there, a lot of conversation, a lot of information, a lot of chat's going to go on in the Discord. And again, your set is going to be so impressed with you. They're like, you know what a Discord is? They're like, you're on a Discord? They're like, whoa. So we're going to give you so much ammunition. We're going to take you guys and accelerate you to 2022. So you are going to be at the forefront of all the technology that's going on right now with 2022. So pat yourselves on the back for being here, number one, and being part of this whole community and experience.
So excited.
Yep. Okay, right. Is the link to the Discord isn't set up yet, but if you go to askloral.nft, all the information will be there as it comes up. So that'll be kind of your go-to place right now. That will put links.
And I'm just going to give my team. I'm sorry, but I will say I'm going to give my team a little moment. So we are just doing this very quickly, and our book is 90 days out. So this is a really short time frame launch. So by tomorrow. By opting in, once things go up, like our Discord and all of the links that we're going to use to do this, it will stay on that askloral.com/NFT. So it'll just be like a page where all that information that you need needs to be there. Yeah.
I see someone asked about Bifrost Wallet. Yeah, that's really good too. Again, I just want to keep everybody on the same platform while we're teaching. So we're going to teach the same thing. But if you choose to use Bifrost Wallet, and you're comfortable with that and already familiar with it, go right ahead and use that. But for the teaching, we're going to try and keep everybody on the same platforms.
Okay. So keep going. So we're going to open up. We're going to have a Discord. You have a Coinbase account, a MetaMask. We're deciding whether it be ETH or somewhere else. That's where you were. So then that's where, so talk about the smart contracts, because I think some of you in the chat are like, I thought it was about art. It's not about art. It's about the contract behind the art, right? It's the contract behind it.
That's what makes it so unique, these NFTs, is the smart contract, because you can put whatever you want in there. So you can put, people getting different percentages of a project. You can put all these digital assets or utilities. You can put, that, like you say, like he was going to be a membership to go to these restaurants. You could put, they have access to a piece of real estate. You kind of get into fractional ownership there. We're not going there, but that's the future where you're going to see fractional ownership. So anything that you would put in a regular contract is going to go in these smart contracts. And the difference between something you sign on a piece of paper is the contract lives in the blockchain. So it always is there, and everything gets delivered. As soon as you purchase the NFT, you get everything automatically. So no delay, it's just boom, everything gets to you because it's already programmed in the smart contract.
So this is Loral, and you've been listening to my podcast. If you've enjoyed this, I have a couple things you can do that are completely up to you. Number one, take my quiz. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com and take the quiz. You will find that there's one of 4 personalities, financial personalities we call them, that you're going to fall into. So as you take the quiz, it'll actually go through and identify, are you, in stagnant cash flow, right? Are you overpaying taxes? Do you have debt issues? Are you a lifestyle junkie? Where are you? And then from there, it goes to a video that actually gives you some solutions on how to correct that problem. So again, go to integratedwealthsystems.com, take my quiz, and we'll go from there.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.